And hello, everybody. This is Rob, aka Smuggling Hams, the host of Geekers Creepers, the podcast where we talk about the geeky side of life and we talk about the creepy side of life. Well, today I'm here to talk about, to give the opinion that nobody asked for, and that is my opinion on the boon totems. Anybody that's listened to my podcast might know that I am a big fan of Dead by Daylight. I play it very often. I have a few games that I've uploaded, and I continue to upload them when I have time. But what I want to talk about today is the new addition to this game. Now, I have to state that I play this game on PS4, so I have yet to play it. I have yet to play the PTB, so I have yet to actually have firsthand knowledge of what it's like to play with or against players using the new edition of Boon Totems. But I have watched other streamers, and I've been reading up on it to see what it entails and how it's going to change the game. Now, first off, the game you're watching right now, I decided to use this one because it was a fun game. I was playing as the Trapper, and somehow I thought I was going to lose, and it all snowballed into a win. It was an unusual game, but a lot of fun. With that being said, Boon Totems. I think they are going to be a good addition to the game if done correctly. My problem right now is it feels like it is overpowered. There are many streamers, many people saying, especially killer mains, saying that this is an overpowered item in the game. And there needs to be a rework done, which I absolutely agree with. I think there needs to be a change made to this where it could still be helpful to the survivors. It could still be used. I don't mind that if all survivors can carry the perk, that's fine. It becomes a great handicap to a game that's already, I don't want to say unfair to killers, but it is difficult to play killer when you're playing survival with friends. And I mean, at the end of the day, you are a killer. You're the purpose of the game is to make sure nobody survives. But with that said, you have these new boon totems, and there are some issues which I've noticed. One of them, specifically, we have two. One where you don't see scratch marks, and the other one where they can heal at double the speed without having any kind of add-ons or without carrying a med pack. So it just becomes more difficult, and honestly, it seems like it's just not fun to be killer anymore. So what can they do to change this? I have a few ideas, because right now the way that the boon totems seem to be working is a survivor can place one down on any totem, and then from there, if the killer kicks it, they could go back and place it on that totem or place it on another one. Okay, that's how they've set it up. It also works that if they place it on a hex totem, then suddenly that hex totem is no longer available to the killer. So it becomes an issue where the survivors get the benefit of not just cleansing a hex totem, but to constantly be able to put theirs down. Now, I understand the killer all has to do is kick it, and it's done with. But again, you got 4 survivors all running the same perk, then they can just add it on. If you have 2 killers running the same perk, they can just add it on to a totem. So I was thinking there are a few changes I think would make this a little more fair. And one would be is if a survivor places a boon totem places their boon totem on an already set hex totem, if the killer does kick that totem, then their original hex totem comes back. Now, let's use an example. Let's say, for example, Hex Ruin. Well, fine, it comes back as Hex Ruin, and again, the gens start regressing all over again. But now let's say it would be Devour Hope. Well, while that totem is active as a boon totem, then if the killer hooks somebody and they get unhooked, then they don't get a stack for Devour Hope. It only activates if that totem is active. I would think that would be a great way to for the killer to keep his power, and it would also give the survivors an option or a choice. And the choice is, I'm either going to put the boon totem on this hex one, or I'm going to cleanse it in general and get rid of it. So it makes it a little more fair. It's not just, well, as soon as I place this boon totem, the hex is gone. No, you have the option of either placing, you have the option of cleansing, or you have the option of placing your boon. You take a chance. If you place the boon totem on a hex, well then, the killer may get his power back. If you cleanse it, the choice is, well then, you may lose one totem and that chance to have an area where you and the survivors can heal much faster. Second is the area effect. It seems like the area effect is too big. Maybe minimize that. That's a big one. Make it a little bit smaller. That way, it does. It seems like if you would have multiple boon totems all in a certain area, it may be overpowered for the survivors. And finally, I've noticed this, and I don't know if this is part of the game or if this is part of what happens when you place a boon totem, because I haven't played it yet, but I've noticed that the survivors can actually see where their boon totem is at. I would say this: once you place a boon totem, the survivor doesn't see where that totem is at. They see when the effect takes place. So if they're in that area, the effect takes place, but they won't see, okay, this is where I have to run to. If you're playing with Survive with Friends, of course you're going to tell them, hey, I placed it by the shack, or I placed it, I don't know, by the, what do they call it? The big machine, the combine machine, whatever it's called. But at least it won't be. And again, I don't know if this is actually something that they could see. But I just noticed that when I was watching gameplay, that they could actually see where their boon totem is at. I think that might be a little too much. Just let them know that if they're in that area, they get that benefit, and that way they don't see it the entire time. Again, these are just my opinions of what Dead by Daylight can do to make it more fair for the killer. Again, I think the boon totem is a really great idea, but the question is it going to make the game unfair for a killer, or make it more difficult for a killer? But with that said, guys, I'd like to hear your opinion, and until next time, I do wish you all the best in life, love, and gaming.